Hello out there, you football is life legends. How's it going? My name's Craig and this is the next instalment of Football is Life. We're going to be rounding up the weekend. The Premier League was back. What a weekend of fixtures and entertainment. We've had all sorts this weekend. And also I'm bringing back my team of the week, the team of the weekend in the Premier League. You know, there's lots of people out there doing it in the punditry world, but I'm going to keep it real, give those shout outs for the top performances that I've seen in the weekend. So stay tuned for that. Also then we're going to be looking at a couple of bits in the news, a couple of things that are team related this weekend and from the last few days. And then rounding it up this weekend, this week coming, we're going to look at the Championship, delve into that league a little bit, looking at those fixtures during the week in the Championship. We're going to forget the Champions League and the Europa League this week because they're all second legs from last week. So we're going to delve into the Championship, try and predict a few good, correct scores in that division. And that'll be the episode. So stay tuned. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Come on, you Football is Life legends out there. Back the channel. Keep following me, all right? My name's Craig. Hope everyone out there is all right. And we're going to delve straight into the action from the weekend. And we're going to start with Chelsea. I can't quite believe Chelsea, Villa as well. But Chelsea, let's start there. Just really faltering on the weekend. A really good opportunity at home to, do something special. Rosenior to keep that momentum going 100%. And it just didn't quite happen. I mean, their disciplinary record as well is 6 yellow cards this season. And, you can't be telling me that that's not a problem. It is definitely a problem and an issue. And for me, it's cost them again on the weekend against Burnley. 11 men, 1-0 up. You can see that it's just going to be over the line. I predicted 5 and it wasn't going to be that. But, it should have been a home win. Fair play to Burnley. I mean, a late corner, which, Rosenior said somebody's not doing his job. So, is he starting to really get at the players a little bit now? Like, you've got to be on it. But a massive result for Burnley this weekend and a brilliant result. One thing about the game that really surprised me was Cole Palmer's reaction to getting taken off. Some might look at that and say, is he unhappy? Is all, not well at Chelsea? He's a top player. They probably thought at the time that, we could rest him now, the job would be done. But down to 10 men, it's an obvious substitution that maybe taking him off, shoring it up a little bit. But yeah, that was an interesting one. We've had the miss during last week for Cole Palmer. And then a little bit of a petulant kind of reaction to be taken off. He clearly wasn't happy. But it's not a game that we thought Chelsea would be dropping points at this stage. And, it kind of reminded us a little bit of the old Chelsea where they're not quite there yet. And susceptible to errors at Stamford Bridge and, big result for Burnley. So that was a good place to start. Man City, we said, Man City and Arsenal, obviously we know now what's happened. We're reflecting on the weekend and Man City just, another good home win. A little bit harder than what probably anybody thought that it might be. Newcastle gave them a good game, but the reason I want to really go on the Man City game is I want to speak about Nico O'Reilly. He has been absolute revelation for City. Since he come in, he's been brilliant. Played higher up on the weekend and got 2 goals. Just looks such a really good player, a massive player for England and for the future. So Nico O'Reilly on top form. Man City get the job done. Brilliant. Also, some really interesting away wins. I mean, the first one, did anybody predict a result right on Saturday in the Premier League? There wasn't many that you would have thought, that they can get a result there or they can get a result there. It was really, really quite a bizarre kind of weekend, really, for some results that you would have banked on. So, that's the beauty of the Premier League. That's why it's so hard to predict. But yeah, Brighton getting an amazing victory away at Brentford. And Brentford have had a great season, doing really well. We're sort of seeing these sides now that have had good seasons, and kind of the Premier League in general is kind of, Villa as well is maintaining that momentum. Sunderland at home had a good season, but they're starting to falter a little bit, and we didn't expect to see a result against them on Sunday. But it's kind of where a few established teams have gone to places where teams have had good seasons, but established teams have gone there, Premier League team. And this is why it's so hard to win the Premier League, so hard to be consistent at your top form week in, week out. So Brighton picked up a great result there. Gomez getting a goal, and they just look really good, and a really impressive win at Brighton. At Brentford. And Leeds, I don't really know where to start with Aston Villa at the moment. It just does seem a little bit disjointed. And another team that's kind of petering out a little bit. They've gone so high. At one stage, you would have said they're in the title race. And since then, it's just not really happened. And Leeds, again, doing so well, getting a result away from home at Villa Park. But Villa's level was really low. I mean, the first half, they just didn't look at the races. I know Morgan Rogers, he's been class this season. You could see he was trying to pull it back, but it was just too much. And Leeds, again, solid, getting another impressive win away from home and putting the pressure on the rest down there, putting pressure on the likes of Nottingham Forest, West Ham, now Spurs. So really interested in some really good away results there. So, I mean, Fulham as well, winning at Sunderland. Just, again, another one that you just would not have seen coming into the weekend. Sunderland, great home form, but now have lost the last two. Maybe losing to Liverpool and losing that proud record at home was the start of maybe a little bit of trouble and a sticky period. But Fulham have gone there and looked strong, powerful. Jimenez back to his old self, getting a couple goals. I mean, just, a mad weekend in the Premier League. So teams dropping off, teams doing well. It's a little bit all over the place and really hard to predict this Premier League at the moment. You can't predict the title. You can't predict the bottom three all, but you don't really know whether a team's going to jump up, go down. And it's a fascinating league. It's why we love it, but it really is a fascinating league and so hard to predict at the moment with these results. And you think a team's on form and then they're dipping out. A team that's not looked so good go and get a surprise result, and just chaos in the Premier League, but fun to watch, but absolute chaos. On Sunday, Liverpool, they kept ticking. A big result away at Forest, new manager, and Forest really desperate for a result under the new guy, Pereira. But Liverpool are just, it's nothing glorious. It really is nothing glorious. And it didn't really look amazing until Rio come on, the late winger, the substitution, and he looked unbelievable. He did more in 15 minutes, I think, the rest of the game from anyone. So, he's an impressive player and one to look out definitely in the future. A top player, and I think he's going to be getting more minutes soon. If it carries on like that, you can see Rio getting put in for more games and being a real asset to Liverpool in the future. But big from Liverpool. They needed to win. They need to win to keep pushing for that top four place. And, they did their job at the end of the day. Villa, they come unstuck. Chelsea come a bit unstuck. So massive result for Liverpool on Saturday. And then really just to round up the Premier League section of the episode, Super Sunday. Now, Tottenham, obviously, I thought they started all right. And they kind of were battling, even though Arsenal always looked like they were superb on Sunday and on the front foot, the better team. I think there was a couple of things that kind of annoyed. The communication issues between the referee and the linesman, like that. We can't have that when it's a global sport. It's being watched by thousands of people. Just for the players as well, like the amount of interruption that caused. If there's a communication issue between the referee and between a player, or the linesman, or any sort of communication issue there from VAR, that I know that's more important, but just the headset doesn't matter, surely. You make a decision and the referee can run over and talk to the linesman. Do we need to be stopping games for 8 minutes at a key stage during the first half? And then 6 minutes, I think it was, when they come out for the second half on the pitch. And it just kind of disrupted a bit of, it probably disrupted Arsenal's momentum in the early stages of the game more than it would have Spurs. Spurs might have actually appreciated it more than Arsenal, but we shouldn't be having these issues at the top level of football. It's one of the, if the communications are down, play the rest of the half with as it is, where they just have to communicate, the referee and the linesman, and then sort the communications out at half time. But don't leave the whole globe just waiting, and then players have got to play 8 minutes of injury time at the end of the half when, then the standard is as soon as the injury time board goes up, it's like, well, we might as well just play for half time now. We're not going to go for the jugular. And that mentality of players will drop off possibly in injury times or added time. So, it was a real frustration. But I want to say, unbelievable from Arsenal. I mean, what a response to the Wolves game, and with Man City winning on Saturday, it was a big pressure game against your rivals to say, could you step up and do it? And I just thought Arsenal brilliant. I thought it was inspired bringing Eze back in. I've been shouting for Eze on this channel to play more minutes. Been gutted that he's not been involved. And he showed, he is class. He may not have done this or that since December, or assist or goal, but he's not had the chance. He's not had the minutes. He's not had the games really, or the momentum. He's been taken out of the side. And I thought Arsenal looked better without Odegaard in midfield. They looked better with Rice and Zubamendi. And then having Eze and Saka higher, they looked formidable. And Gioc as well, that was the best he's looked. A couple of goals in the big game. Eze with a couple of goals. They looked class and they'd done their job, Arsenal, in it. Like we said on last week's episode, it could roll on, even though the pressure goes, they could roll on now where both teams are in the mentality, Man City and Arsenal, keep going. It is now officially between the two. No one's going to catch them. Everyone else is playing for top four. It's Man City or Arsenal. Who do we think is going to win it? Comment, let us know. Who do you think? Make sure you like and subscribe, all right? But who do we think is winning this Premier League? But massive for Arsenal. And I don't want to talk about too much into players because obviously I'm doing my team of the week now and the team of the weekend. So, but yeah, that kind of rounds up the Premier League this weekend. Crazy weekend. Hard to predict, but a reason why we love it. And we'll continue to love football in this country. All right, but sort the communications out. Sort the VAR out as well. Get it all right. Get it working properly. Keep the game flowing. Stop disrupting our brilliant game that we love in this country. Premier League roundup done. Right. Team of the weekend. Here we go. Okay, I've tried to be really kind of a bit more thorough this weekend. Look through. I just think there's so many attacking players that have done well this weekend. Midfield and forward areas that I've gone for a 3-4-3. All right. And I've gone with my goalie, penalty save. We didn't mention Palace in the beginning bit, but it's good to see Palace maybe getting a win again. All right, we're going to come on to the Palace situation a little bit. But Dean Henderson, he's my goalie. Well done, Hendo. You're in my team. Okay, back three. I've obviously got a couple of Leeds players in. I just think that result of Villa Park is against an established Premier League team, a Premier League team that's having a good season. Yes, the level dropped off, but I'm going with a Leeds player. And I'm going to start with what I think was a great recruit at left back this season. He makes a lot of tackles. He's involved heavily. He gets forward. He delivers crosses. And I think he's been a great signing for Leeds. So that's Goodmanson. He is in for me. He's my first defender. The second defender is, again, another team that won away from home. It's Brighton Hove Albion. And it's Van Hecker. I just think he's so consistent and been so good for Brighton. Again, shrewd recruitment from Brighton, as it always is. And he looks a real good player. And he is another one in my back three. So well done, Van Heck. You're in, my son. And the last one, he's obviously not a defender, but he's played for Liverpool at right back. I believe he played at right back and hybrid sections in this game. And he's just had an outstanding season and he deserves to get in again. Quality player is Szoboszlai of Liverpool. So well done, that's Sobs. You're in, son. Midfield, 4 midfielders, all quality. Now, we could have spoke more about these players in the weekend roundup, but I didn't want to, I want to give the player highlights in here. So Eze from Arsenal, you're on first of my midfield 4. I just think the boy is class. I just think he's really good. He's been underplayed since he's joined Arsenal. I'd be playing him now till the end of the season in that number 10 role. And if you want to bring Odegaard in, bring him in for Zubimendi or Rice if you need to rest either, or, play Odegaard a bit deeper, but maybe just bench Odegaard now. Go with Eze, because he's the man. He looks so dangerous, and he adds firepower to Arsenal. Instead of like drawing games 1-1 and try and, bit your way through games, Eze gives you goals and gives you more creativity in the team. So Eze, you're in. Unbelievable performance in the North London derby. Also now the next one, another Leeds player, and just purely, he had a great game anyway, and it's not just for the free kick, but what a set piece. All right, he again has been great recruitment for Leeds, and it's Anton Stack in the middle. What a free kick, bending that one in, an absolute beauty. Stack, you're in. You'd be in one of my teams of the season, to be honest. I'll probably have you in there. I think you've been unbelievable for Leeds. I get the credit you deserve, and what a free kick that was at Villa Park. Another one as well, a player that is a Ballon d'Or winner, okay, that has been off the ball, I think, since injuries, but on Saturday we saw a return to what he was good at, dominating, breaking up the play, setting possession away, and he looked like, is he back? Is he back to the class that we've seen before? And that's Rodri. Okay, he goes in my midfield, 100%, great player for Man City. Will we see the good Rodri back again? And then another player which is unbelievable, and I've touched on it at the start, and he's just been a class player. I mean, he's got goals, he's got the defensive side, he's box to box. He even played up on the left wing. Like, he can do it all, this boy, and I rate him hugely. So O'Reilly, Man City, spoke you up before. What a player. Great, you're in. And then we finish off with a front three. Now, the front three, I've put Gomez in there for Brighton, because I think this boy's caught my eye. Like, he does get shots, he's creative, but he also works hard, which I think Brighton kind of look for when they recruit. But, he looked brilliant for Brighton in the clips that I saw. And I just think, he's a real good player, and he's probably an unfancied player just because you're at Brighton, or you've come from this country, or, we don't know a lot about him. But like most Brighton players, you don't really know a lot about them until they turn up in this country and start working the magic. So Gomez, striker, Brighton, unbelievable. And yeah, you're in. You're getting my shout. And then the last two we've got to finish off is obviously Jimenez for Fulham. He's a really good player, and then he had that nasty head injury, didn't he? And it's probably taken a lot to get back to those levels and confidence to play at that level. But, he's had a good season. He always gets shots away. Like, he's physical, he's powerful, he's a handful in the Premier League and an established Premier League player. And I just thought he added a couple of goals on the weekend to a brilliant Fulham performance, and he's a class centre forward, and when he's on his day, he's one of the best actually in the Premier League. He's one of the most underrated players, I would say. So Jimenez, brilliant display, 2 goals, you're in. And then the final player of the team of the weekend, and I hope people agree. If you don't agree, put your comments in. This player should have got in, or this player should never be in the team of the weekend, but hopefully you agree, is Gyökeres of Arsenal. I mean, he's took some stick as it's very hard. You're not going to come from Portugal or playing in the Championship and just immediately play Premier League week in, week out and score 25, unless you are top draw and you adapt quickly to the Premier League, that is never likely to happen. So he's felt his way in, and I think, he might not have scored in the big games, but he's occupied centre-backs for a lot of the season, and he's played well. And I just thought it was lovely to see him score a couple of goals on the weekend, not for Tottenham fans, but Gyök, you're in. Well played, my son. Now, quick bits of information, because there's a lot to get through. There was a big weekend roundup there and a big midweek of games where I'm going to delve into the Championship very, very quickly. But I just want to highlight the Glasner thing at Palace. Like, the fans are clearly not happy with the board, probably not happy with how they've treated Glasner with losing players, and he's had enough and said he wants to. We said he should have never come out, I believe, and said he's done it for himself. He's not done it for Palace. He's done, I'm going in the summer. And we all know the situation, that Palace fans won't be happy with the way this has been dealt with. But To then say before the game as well, then rumours to come out of Palace are going to talk to him about ending it early and leaving. Like, is he going to leave Palace? Like, is he going? What would be the best thing, Palace? Would it be to keep Glasner and go through to the end of the season, or get rid of him early? I personally think that there's a calm after a storm. So the news is already coming out that he's leaving. You know, that will become old news, and that dust will settle. Okay, and it won't keep coming back. And I think now you just stick by Glasner. You do everything to keep him, even though he's going. Don't let him leave early. I think it would be a mistake now to get a temporary in. You're going to be all right in the Premier League. He's still picking up results. He's done well despite losing the best players. Yes, look for a manager for next season, but don't play it up more than it needs to now. Just back him, keep him in the building, keep Palace going to the end of the season, and then reassess it in the summer. If I was a board member at Palace, I would not be wanting to go, except that he's going, and just play now till the end of the season. Do not move him out of the board for off the pitch, off the touchline, out of the club. Keep him there until the end of the season. I think you need to massively, Palace, massively. And a little cheeky one this week. I just wanted to, we haven't really delved into European football at all, but I just want to give a massive shout out because I think it's an unbelievable job that this guy has done. He's gone to Como in Italy, Serie B. He might have been the league below actually when he started. I'm not too sure, and I don't want to quote that. But the job that Cesc Fabregas has done at Como, I mean, they're sixth in Serie A. They've come all the way up. I mean, you're talking a beautiful part of the world, but a small football club that played in like the same size stadium as an English conference team. It's a beautiful part of the world, obviously, which can attract players and attract, good kind of investors. But he has done an amazing job to get Como up in the top six of Serie A. Right, playing with a certain way and a different style of play. And, he was an amazing footballer, but he's clearly a bit of a tactical genius and a really, really bright person. He knows football inside out. Como, I've watched a few things now, and they're doing things a different way. Cesc is doing different things a different way, and they're playing some wonderful stuff. And just to go and do the double over arguably the biggest team in Italy, Juventus, or one of the most decorated teams in Italian football, done the double. Serie A, up there, and could they get in the Champions League? I mean, it'd be incredible story. Whether he'd ever leave Como, Cesc, and come and manage in the Premier League, I don't know, but surely a future Arsenal manager, and he looks top, and what he's done at Como is unbelievable. So well done, Cesc. It doesn't go unnoticed by me, and it would be an amazing story if Como could break into the top four of Italian football and look to get in the Champions League. It would be just a wonderful story. So Como, look out for them. Unbelievable story. And then to finish, okay, we're going to round up predict the Championship. Now, I've not delved too much into this, and I've had a little look at a few results and look at the predictions for this. Midweek football, Tuesday and Wednesday night in the Championship. So something to look forward to because there's not much European and Premier League games on, at the moment. So yeah, Championship this week. We're going to predict them. Don't hold me to any of these results because anything can happen in the Championship. The only thing I know statistically in the Championship is during the week, for damn sure, is that Tuesday and Wednesdays, you can get some draws in the Championship. So I don't want to be totally predicting draws, but that is a possibility, all right? But I've not done them in any specific day order. We're just going to go straight in. The first one I've raised is Middlesbrough versus Leicester. Now, obviously, Borough trying to get into the Premier League, and Leicester, I just wanted to do that first because I can't believe that Leicester, right down the bottom, looking at them and really in trouble of going down, and it's not a great situation. And they've been down there before to League One, but that would be a massive club drop-in, and I can't quite believe it. I mean, Foxes fans, let us know what is going on at Leicester. But it's a sorry state to see them right down there at the bottom of the Championship, and they could really go down this season, which would be remarkable, really, from where they've been in the past. So But I'm going Middlesbrough 2. Sorry, Leicester 0. And it's not going to get any better anytime soon. I think that's an easy win for Borough at home. They're going to be going for the title, aren't they? And I can't see them slipping up. Millwall v Birmingham. Now, Millwall, incredible season. Birmingham, incredible season, really. Both up there. I think Millwall just, beating expectations this season and not an easy place to go. And Birmingham doing so well. And I think this is the one where it's going to feel like a big game and a big game for the playoffs. And I think this is our first draw. So Millwall 1, Birmingham 1. Blackburn v Bristol City. Now, obviously, Michael O'Neill's gone in there, former Northern Ireland manager, has started really, really, really well. Unbelievably well. So I think 2 wins from 2. And he's obviously just, don't know, he feels like he could have the magic touch here. And at home to Bristol City, I can see them getting a 3rd win on the spin. So I'm going to go Blackburn 2, Bristol City 1. Hull v Derby, another one where 2 teams, there's some great games this midweek in the Championship. That's why I wanted to cover it. But Hull v Derby is another one that 2 teams that are probably massively outweighing expectations this season. Eustace has obviously done great job at Blackburn before in the Championship, took over Derby, kept them up, and is doing what he does. Brilliant manager, doing really well at that level. I'm trying to back kind of Hull beat Derby at home with home advantage, but I think I'm going to go safe and just go Hull 2, Derby 2. Okay. Swansea v Preston. Now, 2 teams that I think could be having, better seasons. I know Preston have been okay. Swansea, I watched them the other week in the Cup, and they've got some couple of really tidy footballers. And everyone would probably say, Craig, this is the one that is one of your draws, probably. But I'm not. I'm going to go with Preston to win at Swansea, and that maybe to be a bit of a surprise. But I'm going to go Swansea 1, Preston 2. And Watford v Ipswich is the next one. Watford, okay, always kind of fancied them at home, but Ipswich for me are still a team that I'm sure can go up. Like, I can't see many that can kind of stop them. They're going to be in the playoffs. They've still got aspirations with games in hand to go higher. And I think they need to win this. This is massive for Ipswich at Watford. So I'm going to go Watford 1, Ipswich 3, and Ipswich to pull out a mighty performance. The next one, West Brom v Charlton. Now, 2 teams that, Charlton have, they come up. It's hard, but done all right. Got some good results along the way and surprised a few. West Brom, I know West Brom fans ain't happy, not doing so well. But I think I'm just going to back West Brom because I think their luck's going to change eventually. And they're a team that should be in the top 8 of that division, like flying really and pushing back to the Premier League, but not quite happening. But I'm going to give you the result this week, all right, for what that's worth. West Brom 2, Charlton 1. Wrexham versus Portsmouth. Now, Wrexham, can they do it? Can they go from the conference and down there all the way back to back? Now, I know they outspend people. They've got the corporate money, the sponsorship money from America. They're massive in America. We have film star money and exposure. But it still would be, and for Phil Parkinson and Wrexham, an unbelievable achievement if they go up. And they can go up. And they might go up. And I think at least maybe a playoff final at Wembley. And if it were Ipswich, Wrexham or Middlesbrough, something like that in a playoff final, it'd be incredible, incredible game. But I'm going to back them to win another one, even though Portsmouth had a great result on the weekend. I am going to back Wrexham at home. I just think beating Ipswich at home, scoring goals freely, that says a lot against a good Ipswich team. And I think it's going to be Wrexham 3, Portsmouth 1. Southampton v QPR, very quick on this one, just a hunch. I know QPR will get great results, and Southampton have been really up and down. So it's another draw. Southampton 1, QPR 1. Norwich v Sheffield Wednesday, such sad stuff for Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, just terrible, awful chairman and owner. It's just driven them into the ground. The earliest relegation in Championship history, I believe, down to League One. And, it's going to be a struggle to go back up. It's going to take a long time to recover, potentially. And I just think Norwich are in a good place with their manager Clement and just doing really well. I know they're selling Josh Sargent. I don't know if he's gone yet, which is surprising. But it's a lot of money. But I do fancy Norwich at home. So Norwich 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Sheffield United v Coventry is just huge. I think Sheffield United obviously on a bit of a rise with Wilder and a lot better place. But Coventry, I just like them away from home at the moment. And a lot of people, you could say Sheffield Wednesday could win this, but I think Sheffield Wednesday won, Coventry won, and another draw. And then I'm just going to finish off with Stoke beating Oxford at home 2-1. All right. Now let's see how many I get right. I've loved coming on camera tonight. All right. Keep it safe out there, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Come on. Football is life. Here we go. All right. Take care. Speak soon. Bye.